Hey, how's it going? I'm going to talk to you a little bit and then I'm going to read you some cards. Please look at my signs. You never know what I'm going to start talking about. I mean, I never do. Except that I know that I want to talk about it's so wacko right now. What am I referring to? I'm referring to, hold on, that's gonna drive me insane. But that's part of it. Just trying to get through the day and do stuff. Trying to do it, you know, the right way. Trying to do everything the right way. And, okay, I have to, like, do a follicle focus right up front. I did not get a haircut. Washed my hair yesterday, so I mean, I think it's dry. I don't know what it's doing other than completely thinning out. You can see I have it's not a Band-Aid. I don't know what it is. Some kind of sticky foam thing, I guess, that they put on there because the Band-Aid won't stick to the hair. Because I had a scalp biopsy to see why am I going bald, and the doctor would not commit to either case that it could possibly be. But if it's either of the two, neither of them are curable, so I guess I'm just gonna have to frickin' be bald or something. And also, my hair is just like, it's like going for it. Like, I'm just gonna dwindle away to nothing. It has gotten so thin. And it probably doesn't help that I'm completely stressed out. People that you have to deal with in the medical field give you partial information, or like they ask me all the time, every time I go in there, although it's not always the same person because I gotta have a rotating cast of interns that you can't even ask them stuff. They answer you stupid shit and it's like, oh my god, you're new. Like, they don't even know how to answer the stuff, and I know that they're just wrong because I live with my stuff. And, oh, I hate dealing with interns. I have serious stuff going on. I feel like I want to talk to somebody that knows what the F they're talking about, at least. Or, so they ask me all the time, do you have diabetes? Do you have diabetes? Do you have diabetes? I'm like, why are you asking me? You take the blood and the pee. You have the lab results. And I'm like, do I have diabetes? And they're like, no. You know what? Look, one of the things that this could be is alopecia, right? Not abnormal for women my age. The other thing they said it could be is lupus. So, like I said, doctor does not want to commit to anything until they get lab results back. I go home, look up the symptoms. She asked me about some of them. Some of them I have. A lot of them I have that she asked me about. Then I get home and I discover I have like almost all of them for lupus, so I'm not jumping for joy. It's not curable. They don't really know what the hell's going on with it. It's different with every single person. It can manifest in various ways all over your body. So, I mean, I'm already in the peak of health. It's what I need is another something to add to the list. And then it's just like living in the world today. I have to keep moving my money around because if I try to place it in an institution like they want you to, the institution wants to take your money and as much of it as they can at every opportunity. Like what do you call it? insufficient funds fees. First of all, it's messed up that if you don't have the funds, insufficient or not at all, they are like penalizing you for that. They're not paying the check, they're just punishing you. Used to be they'd pay the check. I had a place that was cool and I was able to reason with them. Why are you even letting them charge me when it's not there? Just let them see, like, nope, and then they could go away. And they did that, and I was so grateful. And then somebody wrote me a bad check, and then my account got frozen. I have talked about this before. I did not write myself a bad check. Why would I do that? They have no reason to think that all of a sudden I'm going to be lying to them after having been there for years. And I did have to change my account and get a new debit card a number of times because that is the world we live in now. Even if you're careful, you still run into things like you don't have to do anything. Just like all of a sudden stuff is being charged in your name, and I don't even know how they get stuff. I don't talk to people. There's just not that. It's just like everywhere. But who gets blamed? Me. And so that was a big, huge mess. And I have not been able to catch up from it. I've not been able to rectify it. So finally I was like, I'll go back to the Social Security debit card that they give you, that they limit you. They're like, oh, you can't buy that. You know, if you're on Social Security, presumably you're like in your 60s in most cases. Why would you not be able to decide what you should buy for yourself? And I'm talking about like on Amazon. I'm not talking about like overseas dark web links, just regular stuff where they're just arbitrarily like, no, you can't buy it. It's like health insurance. Like they just make these decisions that they don't know what's going on with you. They're just thinking of the numbers and how that's going to work out for them. And that don't work in my world. I can't believe it doesn't work as well in other people's worlds. And that's like normalized. It's not right. Hold on. I got to do something here. So yeah, preying on each other, that's like the pinnacle of success in this country. Look at the former president with the big mouth and the name calling and the hating and the Nazi and the... Like, he doesn't think he's a Nazi because I don't know why. I can't even pretend to understand what that man is thinking. Except that the things that he wants are Nazi things. And he's calling people Stalinists when he's the one that stuck his head on a bottle of perfume. Who has head busts all over Russia? Stalin. Like, what? And it's a weird, like, double talk, double think. Like, it doesn't matter. The guy that claims he's a billionaire is constantly begging for money, but by the metric of success of capitalism or whatever in this world now, why should you spend, if you could be richer than God, but you don't want to spend your own money? What is that? And what does that leave for everybody else? That is not tenable. So I don't even do any of all of that. I am just subsisting, you know. Because of my health, I get money from the government. But I had to take it out of banks, which they require you to have either a bank account or their card. You can't just have a check anymore because I don't know why. Everything's got to be locked into the electronic money suck system. So the banks were killing me. They were taking like a third of my check before I could even get there and decide where I was going to pay my stuff. And I was always going to pay my stuff. I got put on auto pay by a company because there was a change in my plan and they didn't bother to notify me that they put me on auto pay. So the money was just going out. I'm like, what the hell? And that's okay, I guess. Like, that's just what we do now. I hate it. I am completely responsible. I want to pay my bills, but can you let me do it? Can you, like, not take the money from me before? I mean, what is the point of growing to adulthood anymore if they're just going to treat you like a child unless you're rich enough to get people to give you money? It's just whacked. It doesn't make any sense. I'm losing my mind. It's not a good time to get yet another disease and to have, like, nothing and no one to count on. Like, every authority figure in my life ever is not living up or has not lived up to what they expect you to and what your expectations for them are supposed to be. Like, you cannot count on anything anymore. I'm trying to stay out of it. I don't make promises that I'm going to have to live up to. You know, if I'm going to do it, I'll just do it. There's no other option, because I can't be all kicking stuff down the road. I don't have that luxury. I have to be, like, honest and upfront. And right now, like, I got to pay it when it's due, and I know it's the wealth disparity in action. I hate it. I hate the inauthenticity of it. I hate I don't even like to say hate, but these things to me induce it in me, because all this stuff is thrown up to confuse and get in our way and distract us from what is what, and all capitalism and the parties and the MAGA and the liberal and blah blah blah. It's just a bunch of crap, people. You're arguing about nothing that's real. The stuff being focused on that ends up with us just violencing against each other. What is that helping? Nothing. Just, keep doing the same thing and expecting it to get better by yelling at it and getting mad at it. That's not how it works. Is that how you want to be addressed? Is that what makes you want to do a dang thing for anyone else? We create the world that we live in. But if we have problems in it, what we're doing, I don't think is the answer, because I hear a lot of people saying the world is burning down, everything's terrible, these people hate those people, they're trying to do this and that and steal this from the other person, and it's like, none of us actually own anything. Do you know that? Even the people with all of the money. That's some kind of, like, giant virtual board game that not everyone can play, and it's not even real stuff, and they know it. Like, the richer you get, the more clued in you get to the realities of the situation, and they're making decisions to treat the rest of us like prey, to be preyed upon. It's if we had all of us, everything taken away in an instant, like right now, and we're reduced to everybody the same naked human individuals, all of that talk would go away. One of the reasons we exist, I truly believe, is so that we can get to that understanding that it doesn't have to get to that point. Anywhere in our lifetimes, we can come to the realization that as low as we feel, as used as we feel, as lied to as we feel, why do you think doing it back is going to make anything better? You know what would make it better is if it wasn't happening, right? I mean, am I wrong about that? And so, for it to not be happening, what has to make that be? We have to stop participating in it. We're like damaging each other, and then there's not even justifiable reason to be doing it. I truly believe that. Like, whatever you tell yourself, it's not real. It's not true. Maybe that silly thing about when you're embarrassed to go speak in front of people has some value in it, some truth to it, where they say, imagine everybody naked. I'm saying, imagine everybody naked and with nothing, no pretense, no inauthenticity. We don't even have to do that. It's a choice. Yes, it's a choice, like our elections coming up. So, do we want to be naked, or do we want to be traipsing around in the emperor's new clothes? It's a fable. Look it up, the emperor's new clothes, if you don't know about what that is. But at the same time, it's insane. I want to feel hope. And I'll tell you what else has got me riled up is that I met someone online just talking. In fact, it's an artist from a group, and I've always liked them. And, you know, like I have to say former musician because I just physically can't do it anymore. But like everything else about the musician part of me is still there. So I admire these people. I've enjoyed their work for years, audio, visual, you name it. Like I haven't been to see them live, but you know, one of the joys of being online is that you can talk to these kinds of people. So I'm talking to this person and understand that I come from a place where a lot of these people go to make their names. Like I grew up in Hollywood. I grew up with people that are actors now that I didn't know them. They went to my high school and stuff like that, or some I did know, some I came to know later, some that I met while I was doing extra work on movies, bands that are hugely famous that I knew before they knew how to do their instruments. You know, I mean, I'm saying I have like I can commiserate in a lot of ways with these people and what they go through and who they are and what they have to deal with, like with strangers and stuff. So, you know, I'm not all like doing this or anything. Like you're still just like, you're naked to me, basically. But people get it in their heads that they're like more than that, but in a wrong way. Like they think they can command you to think certain ways or something, and I'm not susceptible to that. In fact, I don't like it. Like, don't do it. So when I meet someone like that and they start asking me stuff and I tell them explicitly, like, no for this reason and then no for this other reason, and they continue to ask, I know I made myself clear. I know we both speak the same language, and it's like, you get 2 freaking strikes. Sorry, you don't wise up. There's not going to be a third. So I blocked him. And I don't like doing that. But don't impose yourself upon me. Don't suppose that you are like everybody's supposed to give to you, like, unthinkingly. And the person had like things that were going on, and I was fine to talk to them about it and commiserate as they needed, you know, or whatever, you know. But you also have to like respect the person that you're talking to, you know. And I'm not gonna, I'll give a lot. I care a lot about like everybody and everything. As you know, I mean, I try to encompass and like involve everything. It's big. That makes it difficult, especially when you have stuff going on yourself. But it's almost like it's easier to put that aside to deal with the other person's stuff. But man, like, don't take advantage. I hate that. Don't get over yourself, I guess is what I'm saying. We're all going through something. Like right now, I'm telling you, like, I knew like a big purge was gonna happen, like personally, and it's always difficult to kind of separate my own stuff from the purge stuff. But the thing is, my own stuff often is like triggered by the trigger, if that makes sense, or it opens up something for the trigger to jump down into and dig apart and make you feel all kinds of ways about. And I feel like that's what's been happening, and I just feel like I've been hanging on like by my toenails, like just fighting kind of, and it just made me think of the tiger energy, because I mean I just feel like the tiger's out there in the wild being all beautiful and doing its life in nature, and there's a constant incursion of civilization and bipedals, and they have guns and things. And this, look at this, this is a white tiger. This is a rare creature. But this is all of us, I feel like inside that naked person. And, man, I mean, here's the other thing. Like, take all of that stuff, right? Blend in your own, if you're interested. And there's Pluto. I mean, I know that's just one thing, but if you understand astrology at all, Pluto is always there when stuff starts blowing up, and it's not selective. In fact, it's all inclusive. This government and all of this, like the election and like all of the, like the part of the government trying to kill itself off, and the other half desperately trying, well, I'm not really sure what they're doing. I know that they're trying to maintain the status quo, but it's like, no, there's too much of this happening right now. Like, there's no, like, really holding on to the past, at least going back to the good old days, and everybody is like hanging on to something by their dang claws, by their toenails, and clawing to save it. But it's like, we gotta move on, you know, like, come on now. I know it's a horse. It's bronking a bit. Hold on, though. So, yeah, this is the Horseman card, Herald of Change. If you're not feeling the change happening, and all of the stuff that's been happening, like January 6th, that wasn't normal. That was like kind of change bucking us around. The thing is like, it feels awful. I guess this is what I want to say, is it feels awful, like personally for me right now. But I know, like, it's gonna be fine overall. The state of, like, democracy in the world, I feel like, is fighting for its life. And it's hard to separate all those feelings, because it's, like, strong right now. Like, I just am having the whole windsock kind of very out of control feeling, and I'm so aware of how I'm feeling and like what's going on to make me feel that way. And I know it's not just me, which is part of it. Like, everybody's like inflamed, but the thing that will bring you back to it, if you can like calm down and back away from it enough, is to go and find your muse. Find something that, please stop jumping out of my hand, please. Makes you feel happy, makes you not feel the other stuff, just allows you to forget for even a few minutes. And it's so restorative when you can get those few minutes. I'm not supposed to touch my head. So when you're all bollocksed up like I've been feeling, and I keep trying to claw my way back to this to get inspiration from spirit, like to just get like some light in me and some better feeling ideas in my head. Because in my head and deep inside, I know that there's better after all of this. It's just this wealth of new that's going to be born of the change that's happening right now, that we're all suffering through it in some way. It seems like that's what I'm witnessing. So, I mean, it's just a good reminder that we got two aces here. Don't lose heart. Don't lose your big caring heart, because we all need that still, you know. And I'm having a hard time with people kind of needing too much from me, like not respecting kind of the boundaries that, I mean, I put them in place, and if you don't respect them, you're gone. And I don't like to do that, but I'm not going to keep flapping my jaw forever for nothing. But there is the promise of this, if we can just all not give in to, like, the way the tide wants to turn. It seems like the louder portion of us, it seems like, wants the chaos, wants something from it. And I kind of get it. Like I have said, I used to think a post-apocalypse society would be fun and stuff, but I don't know what the heck I was thinking, because you got to go through the whole apocalypse, and that's kind of, I guess, what we're going through now. It's a clashing, it's the churn. But like I said, I think there's a promise going forward, and it takes, I don't know, like, okay, the fool is gonna throw caution to the wind and fall backwards and hope that spirit's gonna trust, fall, catch them. But you know, if you believe, you will. How many times in your life have you seen somebody referred to as having a charmed life? Because they don't, like, hold on to stuff that makes them feel bad. So for myself, but yes, for everyone else, you know, definitely. Sometimes you gotta let go of everything and just, I don't know, play dumb, play stupid, turn off your brain, whatever it takes. And have hope, because don't forget, you have this maybe under the ground and out of sight, but putting down roots, and you know, that's going to lead to eventual bloom, and you know, it'll bear some fruit, which will be sweet. So don't give up. I know it's been hard for me to stay grounded, especially lately. But I actually believe that it's just a phase we're going through. I think that we all really want to be better and have happiness going forward in our lives, and for those of us that have kids, and for those of us who don't, who just want to see everyone just be happy, you know? I don't know why that's so hard. You don't have to resent it. You don't even have to care about it. Just let it be. So, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, because you could put it all in the good column, like every bit of it. Even though it feels hard, like my ET friends will tell you all of the time that it's part of the joy of the experience. So, change happening like crazy. It's a bumpy ride ahead, but just remember, stuff is working out of sight, you know, that's for all of our benefit. And I'm not trying to be all big and weird and mystical. It doesn't have to be like that, although I think it is. I think individually, we have stuff going for us, like stuff that we're trying to make happen, and maybe, maybe it isn't. Maybe you're having some roadblocks. Maybe there's some unexpected interference, but, you know, like, in my case, was it unexpected? I've had, like, all of these symptoms. I've had all of these precursors. I've had all of these clues. Like, I should have taken the rein for myself when I was asked so many times, like, about the diabetes. Like, I could have so easily just looked for myself and found out, like, oh, you have, like, 1 million precursors, but why didn't they tell me? You know what? I'm past that now. It came to me, interestingly, after my appointment, when I started looking up lupus symptoms, all these other symptoms for things that I definitely have that, oh my gosh. Thank goodness for the internet. I know doctors don't want you doing stuff for yourself and like, oh, so scary, you might hurt yourself. True, but you can sure find out a lot of things that end up being true that the doctors will agree with you on. If you let them be all up in their heads and be all, I'm the doctor, I know everything, and make it sound like it's their idea, you can suggest things that you find out and therefore verify what you are learning also on the internet, even though you don't have a medical degree and you are not a doctor. You worked hard, great. Yours ain't the only way, though. There's stuff from thousands of years ago that was done that was successful and has saved lives, and I've learned a lot of, I don't know, like herbal treatments and things that really do help. So I'm not saying you don't want the doctors. Of course you do. The technology is so helpful. The knowledge is so helpful, but you still have to deal with the people. You need something from them, though, so open your heart. Give as much as you can. I mean, we have to do that for each other all of the time, or else how else do we interact with each other? So, I feel better now. I haven't spoken to you, all of you, my friends. Sorry, I'm not rolling my eyes like, I don't mean that. I'm rolling my eyes because, yep, you're it. So, and also, I have to say that this looks like my cat. He's a tabby, but he's gray. The thing about him, I've talked about this before, but I love him so much. He's been such a little, well, he's just been making me feel better. Like he has not left my side. He's been like coming to hug me. He hates the hugs. He never wants to hug. I have to beg him, and he's just been hanging out with me because he's known that I was upset. So if you have a friend like this in your life, doesn't have to be a cat, they're going through it too, you know, and they end up in our lives to help us through the hard stuff, but they need help too. But they make us so happy, and they help us unblock like the buildups that we might get from just living amongst each other. I mean, every morning when I get up, I watch cat videos because they're so weird and crazy. They make me laugh. I like all animals. Get off my back. Anyway, That's what I had to share today. Thank you and good night.